Mr. Reagan.
You know, I know this steak doesn't exist. I know that when I put it in my mouth, the Matrix is telling my brain that it is juicy and delicious. After 9 years, you know what I realize? Ignorance is bliss.
Just recently said there's no hell. Everybody went crazy. Like, what? What did he just say? The Pope said there's no hell. He's slowly bracing you for the fact that all this is nonsense. So right now we're gonna get rid of hell. Like, this is like one of the purest examples of like the change in people's attitude towards religion.
Is this real?
Yep.
As the headline says, the Pope has come under fire for denying the existence of hell. In an interview to mark his 10-year anniversary, Pope Francis appeared to deny the existence of hell, saying that it is not a place, but is instead simply a state of the heart.
We're in hell, aka Sheol, now. So, in other words, this is some people's heaven. Hear me out. Toda Yahu and Yahusha, I found the quote. I'm sorry, y'all just look. Y'all gotta understand I live by quotes. Quotes and Bible verses is literally what keeps me tunnel vision and on that narrow path. But there is a quote that let me just put y'all on. Sorry. This life is the only hell believers will ever know. But for those who die in their sins, this is their only heaven. One more time? I heard somebody say one more time. This life is the only hell believers will ever know. But for those who die in their sins, this is their only heaven.
I was raised as a Catholic, but I wouldn't really describe myself as religious today. I had never heard of things like megachurches or televangelism or the prosperity gospel. That was until I stumbled across an infamous interview.
How are you, sir? We'd just like to ask you about why you don't want to fly commercial.
You've got this journalist that is confronting this guy called Kenneth Copeland.
You said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
Get in a long tube with a bunch of demons.
We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
Copeland is being confronted about his purchase of a Gulfstream jet. And it turns out that that jet is just one of a fleet of jets that he owns, along with a boathouse, a mansion.
Hey, you know who lives in this house? A great big phony! That's right, a phony lives here! A big fat phony!
And his very own airport. This is a preacher that is supposedly worth hundreds of millions of dollars with an enormous following. And you're telling me that he is just one of many. This entire thing is a rabbit hole.
Pastor is now the largest church in America, weekly sermon watched by more than 10 million viewers on television.
But the apostles were businessmen. They were rich men, had plenty of money. I'm going to show you that Jesus was a wealthy man, had plenty of money.
One of my chandeliers costs more than most people's house. I got 22 chandeliers in my house.
They're extremely greedy. They don't need mansions. They don't need jets.
God told me to have that plan.
Any religious leader who speaks the word of God, who has more than one suit, while someone has no clothes, is a cop-out.
Yeah, you know, Larry, I just don't see it that way.
For $54 million, I want you to imagine how many people could be fed.
Oh,
how many homeless could have places to sleep.
You're a phony! Hey, this guy's a great big phony!
Televangelism is still thriving in this country.
If you were willing to pay the price, you could talk directly to God.
I'm starting to see pictures like this pop up on my Explore page everywhere on the other app. And you've probably seen this girl or some iteration of this girl. or you've probably seen this girl or these old money images.
Nope.
The thing that all these pages have in common is that they're AI. And I'm just going to speak on this because a few years ago, I was interviewed by the Boston Globe. As a talent agent, they were asking me what I thought about AI and if it would take over modeling. This was in like 2019, and this is where we are today. So of course, AI is like the biggest thing right now when I talk about new companies or companies that are getting lots of money and lots of funding and growing very quickly. But I personally believe that this AI modeling thing is our fault if we keep doing this. If we continue to use filters that make us look like not ourselves, AI is going to continue to become the most popular version of how we see people. Because when you first look at these
all these damn filters. Hey, this is a good video. I ain't even gonna lie.
models, they look really familiar. And what these models look like is the Facetune version of a lot of us. And just to be more real right now, I'm going to turn off the retouch because this is my 32-year-old face, okay? There's no AI, there's no filter. These pages are getting a lot of likes and a lot of followers, and I really need all of us to do a favor. And just when you see these pages pop up on your Explorer, do not click on them. Do not like the photos. As if we don't already have the most unrealistic beauty expectations.
Right.
I'm literally looking at myself right now like, oh my God, I need Botox in my neck. I need filler under my eyes, blah, blah, blah. Because I will never look like that AI model. Or actually, I can if I have lots of plastic surgery. This is a version of a woman that we've probably seen before, but this woman does not actually exist. I've been a talent agent for, I don't know, almost 8 years now. And there are extremely beautiful women, but they just do not look like this. They're basically picking and choosing every single feature off of a person and then creating the perfect face. And I even saw this brand do it earlier and it was so ugly. This activewear brand, and I'm not going to mention their name, but they had this model. And then they also tried to get away with this image. Like, look at the face and the body, like it doesn't even match. I also feel like this AI imagery is really pushing the Eurocentric beauty standards. So we just need to be really, really careful with what we're letting into our mind, because I feel like just like people were getting plastic surgery to look like Facetune and doing their makeup to look like Facetune, people are going to start comparing themselves to AI, and it's going to fuck us all up. Like, think about what porn did for men and what they thought women should look like, act like, have their nails like, fuck like, etc. That's what AI is doing for the average girl and what she thinks a woman should look like. And even for men, because they're starting to have relationships with bots and OnlyFans models. And now there's this. It's a really dangerous, slippery slope. I'm not going to use AI models in my company, for my period care company. Like, maybe I'll use an AI bathroom and put something on a counter. But I just think it's really weird. I think we're going in a really weird direction in humankind. It just makes me want to go live on a farm in Wyoming. It does not have to deal with any of this stuff. But anyways, here we are. So I'm just warning you.
Talking about that. It was forever ago. They were both very young, and he had just had.
A typical record deal is structured something like this. The record label gives in advance, say, $250,000 to the artist to record an album. The artist then records the album. Suppose that the album sells 500,000 copies at $10 each, yielding $5 million. The record label then takes their cut out of the $5 million, typically 85% of the total sales, leaving the artist with $750,000. But before the artist receives any payments, the label first deducts the advance. In addition, the record label recoups other costs such as recording costs, half the promotion costs, half the video costs, and tour support. This leaves the artist $425,000 in debt to the record label. And then this debt gets carried on to the next album, the next album, and the next album.
Stuck.
I don't know if most people have seen long-form contracts. They're insane.
That is the true definition of selling your soul. Do you hear how they took out all the expenses and the person or the artist was stuck in the negatives? And that carries out through the next album and the next album and the next album. Do you see how you can't get away from the industry? Everything that the world or Babylon promotes, it's going to be a subscription service. It's never going to be a one and done. No, That's how you lose money. They're going to want to keep you. So they got to figure out what they can do to just keep you under them and for you to be leeching off of them, because again, subscription services is what this world operates off of. Look at the medical industry. But y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all want to say it with me? A cured patient is a lost customer.
In 1978,